When I say I'm off to a bad start, I mean I'm off to a bad start. All right, you know what? I'm mm-mm, mm-mm. This is not happening. So what we're going to do is I'm gonna peel my ears back, pin my ears back. What I was saying to y'all was this. Yeah, I didn't have any technical difficulties, but I realized that my show wasn't titled the way that it was supposed to be titled. So I was saying y'all should talk amongst yourselves while I get set up here. While I get set up, and after I get set up, then we're gonna start the show as if it was okay from the beginning. So today we're talking about taking it. The title of the show is "Taking Into Custody." Y'all can refresh or whatever y'all want to do. Taking into custody. That's the title of the show. So we're going to be talking about when your children are, placed in what do you call it? In foster care, or when you lose your children to the other parent. Like when you lose custody of your children. And we're going to literally be talking about losing custody of your children, not just relinquishing custody, but losing custody of your children. What does it take? What does it take for you to lose custody of your child? A lot of people have gone through this, and you hear a lot of excuses, a lot of so-called reasons for why this happens to people. But this is something that we have to deal with. And, when you think about what it takes to mother or father or parent children, that is the biggest commitment that anybody could ever make in their lives. Parenting children is the biggest commitment that anybody could ever make in their lives. And some people don't take it seriously. And when it's not taken seriously, that means children aren't taken care of properly. They're not clothed and fed and housed properly. And that can affect entire communities in the long run. We don't always look at it because we think like, well, I'm taking care of my business. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm handling mine. But it's not always like that. What's going on, T. Carey? Right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And Emily Dunlap is in the house. Bow, she's about to turn it out. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on today. I'm not getting off to a good start, but I'm going to fix it. I promise. I'm going to fix everything. I'm going to fix everything. So I got the title right. I put the number and pinned the number in the chat. Make sure that I put the number right, because the way things are going right now, anything is possible that I could have goofed it. Please, y'all, make sure y'all hit the like button as y'all come on up in here. Cheryl Halsey, what's good? Good to see you always. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. Listen, if you don't want to subscribe, that's all right. If you don't want to share the show, that's all right. But at least hit the like button. That's all. That's the one thing that I must ask you to do. Dirt bikes, what's good, dirt bikes? So let's go. All right. So since we're ready for the most part, I'm not as ready as I would like to be. I'm not as ready as I like to be. I usually require myself to be readier than this. But I didn't even practice a beat. So we just gonna freestyle. Whatever y'all hear right now is just what's coming out of my head with what I think might sound good. So it might improve as we go on, or it might get worse. I might goof. But let's gonna get it right. What? That's good enough. We gonna rock. Losing custody. What you know? I hope it never happened to you, but it affects a lot of people. It do. I hope that it never visits your space, yo, cause we might have the same face. Losing your kids is not all that hard. Getting them back is harder than talking to God. Yeah. If you know, then you know. We're gonna talk about it on today's show. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving, man. Saturday, smack dab in the middle of the month. Kinda. March is a 31-day month, so we kind of like smack dab in the middle of it. How y'all feeling, man? How's everybody doing this Saturday afternoon? Shoot, I just got up. Just woke up. Y'all know we was just here. A minute ago. We was just here. We just got off the air almost 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, we were supposed to get off at 3, but the show was good last night. Shout out to everybody, anybody and everybody who came through last night and participated on the Daily Go Getimism show. We had a nice time last night. We was talking about that music stuff. It was really good. Listen, today, taken into custody. So we're going to be talking about 2 things. We're going to be talking about what it takes to have your children taken away from you. What it takes to lose custody of your children. It's a serious, serious topic. What does it take for a parent to lose custody of their children? How bad should it hurt? How bad does it hurt? And what do you have to do to lose your children to foster care or relinquish custody to the other parent? You know, it's very litigious. And what I mean by that is that it's litigated. And what I mean by that is that you had to go to court. You got to go to court when these things take place. In order to establish custody of your children, you have to go to court. And in order to lose custody of your children, you have to go to court. However, losing custody may take place before you go to court, but you will have your day in court. The other thing about it is being taken into custody. So we're going to talk about repeat offenders. Like, what does it take to go back to jail, back and forth to jail, in and out of prison? What is up with repeat offenders? especially those who have returned back to prison because of probation or parole violation. Probation or parole violation. They violated me. They violated me. Well, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna have that conversation. What's going on? Dimples D's is all up in the house. What's going on, Dimples? And Malaya plays. Malaya plays. That's a dope name. She says, I love the drums. Well, I appreciate you saying that. You know, because trust me, I don't hear that all the time. Dirt bikes for you. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you. Thank you, Dirt Bikes for you. All right. So, all right. You know what? I wanna put this poll question up. And all of these are things that I would have done if I didn't see that I didn't even have the title of the show up. So I'm going to put the show title up. But before, I'm sorry, I'm going to put the poll question up. But before I do that, so what are y'all general thoughts about this whole thing? Now, it may not be you. Hopefully, nobody who listens to this show is going through a situation where they have lost their kids to foster care or the ward of the state. A ward of your children became a ward of the state. What are we talking about? Well, look at this. Look at this. T. Carey Wright with the member for 6 months tag. Is that like a badge? That thing's sticking out. And she says you can have repeat offenders who notoriously don't pay child support. Ooh, that's true. That's true. My man Troy Diesel. Troy Days. What's going on? What's going on? How you feeling, my dude? Good to see you. Good to see you again. It's been such a long time. It has been so long. What's up, my dude? So, okay. I'm gonna do this poll question. But what are y'all general thoughts? Like, if you've known somebody, I don't know, a sister, a brother, a cousin, a co-worker, a friend, a neighbor. Yo, man, in Philadelphia, the Child Protective Services is called DHS. And when you see that DHS van pull up and they hop out, because it's normally like 3 of them, and they're normally female. Shout out to shout out to DHS in Philly, Department of Human Services. I know a lot of people who work it. I know people who worked in DHS and they just got burnt out. And I know people who still work in DHS. Social work is my thing. They've been encouraging me to, like, they've been telling me, like, oh, you got to come and do this. You got to come and do this. We need people like you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm actually with it. But there's some, you know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway, yeah. When that van pull up, and them 3 to 4, DHS females, we ain't talking about Department of Homeland Security, Department of Human Services. That's what Child Protective Services is called in the city of Philadelphia. The city and county of Philadelphia is the same thing. So when they hop out, they not coming to be friendly. Somebody gonna get their kids taken away. You've been a bad parent and got to lose kids today. I'm sorry, everybody is all in your business. Everybody on their porch, they witness it. Yo, your kids got taken out with a bunch of clothes. Yeah, they had to take those. And here you all crying and pissed and yelling and saying they can't do that shit, but they can, and it makes you feel bad. But who you should really be mad at yourself, because Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's a milestone highlighted message. What were you talking about? Magnificent Morocco. My man, Magnificent Morocco. What's going on, my dude? Said DHS, no joke. No, they're not. You talk about somebody standing on business. When they come through, they ain't playing. They not coming to play with you. Your kids getting walked up out of there, and they not coming home that day. They're not coming home that day. When they gotta come get your kids, Your kids ain't coming home. They ain't coming home that day. They ain't coming home that week. You ain't going to see them a month. They have to make sure that they remove the children from the problem situation or from a potentially harmful environment. Somebody called the people on you. Somebody called the people. And sometimes you know who it is, and you know what's fucked up? It's fucked up if you know who called DHS on you. Sometimes you know it's your mom that called them. Your sister called them. I've heard all kinds of excuses. It's because they want the custody because my child get SSI. They father passed. They father passed, so they get his social security and blah 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 blah. I'm like, ain't nobody fighting over them little bit of them little bit of coins. Not for real, for real. But I ain't gonna tell nobody's story for them. Not yet. Troy McNeil says DHS can make your life a DH mess. It sure can. It sure can. It's definitely, you do not want them in your life. You do not want DHS in your life. You don't want them nowhere near you. But when they are near you, it lets you know that there's been a breakdown in coverage. You ain't, something. Magnificent Morocco says, where's my badge? Been a member for over 4 years. No, you ain't been that kind of member. We ain't even been monetized for 4 years, right? We ain't there yet. If you want to be a member, you have to go down and click become a member. You pay a little fee, $5 a month, and you can become a member. Troy says a song for taking your kids up. Listen, it is what it is. Gianluigi Buffon, Messi or Ronaldo? Messi or Ronaldo? I don't know. Who they like, soccer stars or something? I don't know. I got nothing. I'm sorry. They might be basketball players. I'm so removed from the NBA right now. I'm sorry, man. I can't do nothing. All right. Let me get this poll question. I'm almost there, y'all. Mm-hmm. I got a character issue when it comes to this. They only allow me to have so many characters. All right. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. I had to remix it. I had to keep remixing it. Here's the question to you. Is there any reasonable excuse that parents would lose their children to foster care? To you, is there any reasonable excuse that children would lose their children to foster care? And I really want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to think about that because, you know, on the surface, you might be thinking like, no, the only reason you would lose your children to foster care is because you've been beating them. You've been cussing them out. You've been treating them bad. You ain't been feeding them. You don't change their drawers. You don't make them wash. You got a 5-year-old that still ain't potty trained. That it's not always like that. It's not always like that. There are some reasonable causes for children to be placed in foster care. Nonetheless, with the amount of red tape, paperwork, court proceedings, and processes that have to take place in order for you to have your children returned to you, avoiding it is probably the thing that you should concentrate on the most. But let me see. All right, I'm saying. Okay. Okay. There you go. The poll is ready. Sorry it took so long. I would have had all of this stuff done, but blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. We got some good info going on here. Let me see. All right. TK Wright says the badge I have is for the paid membership. Yes, it is. Appreciate that too. Troy says Messi 1A, Ronaldo 18, but not that far behind Luigi Buffon. I don't know what y'all talking about. Sorry. TK Wright says my brother-in-law worked for DHS for years. Cool. Magnificent Morocco says DHS had me up State Road for 3 weeks till I made a payment to payment plan. CFCF ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. Make sure it ain't. Avoid jail at all costs, black man. You don't want to be locked up. I understand, but then again, I overstand. All right. So, yeah. Losing custody of your children. Is it always about abuse? Is it always about neglect? Is it always about irresponsibility? That's what we have to find out. That's our task for today. That's what we are tasked with today. Finding out the root causes for somebody losing custody of their children. And you know, it could be DHS or CPS or whatever they call it in your county, city, state, region, whatever. But you know, when we talk about losing custody of their children, we also could be talking about in child support proceedings or family court proceedings where you may lose your children to the other parent. The other parent may be who the court sees to be the better fit parent to have custody of the children. Is it because you've been a bad parent? Not necessarily. But if it's not because you've been a bad parent, what reason, especially when it comes to women, what reason would the state have, a judge have, a family court judge have for relinquishing the custody that a mother has of her children and placing the custody with another family member, preferably or more than likely the father? But it's not always the father. I've seen children, or should I say, I've heard about situations where I know or been close to situations where grandparents have taken custody of their grandchildren. Drugs, to make it simple and plain, to break it down and get straight to it. Drugs played a major part in it. If it can be proven that a mother is on drugs or has a substance abuse problem and they're not taking good care of their children, maybe the children are absent from school, maybe the children have been, shown signs of neglect, poor hygiene, not getting the educational help or educational training that they require. Like you got a 13-year-old that's only in the second grade, some old crazy extreme shit like that. But like, what do you mean? Do they have a learning disability? No, they just keep flunking. They keep flunking. See, before the No Child Left Behind thing, you used to be able to flunk until you passed that grade. So yeah, you want to be in sixth grade 3 years in a row? We got you. But nonetheless, these things are reflective of parental guidance. And when the state sees or gets wind of the fact that children aren't being taken care of properly by their parents, they step in and remove children from the situation. Like, until we figure out exactly what's going on here, we're going to remove the children from the premises. We're going to interview them, and we're going to find out what we need to find out. Hopefully you got a rapport with your kids to the point where they don't tell on you. A lot of those social workers are trained in psychology, though, so they know how to get some of the truth out of some children. They know how to get the truth out of children. Your children going to snitch on you, and it shouldn't even be looked at as a snitching situation. You've been beating your kids with the stenching cord. You been beating your kids with the stenching cord, baby. Why you beat your kids with the stenching cord? No, I ain't say extension cord. I said you beating your kids with the stenching cord, baby. They can't even look at a phone charger cord without getting a little nervous. The phone charger cord is 10 feet long. You know what else is 10 feet long? All right. TK Wright says it's not always about irresponsibility. It's not. Sometimes it can be about neglect, and the neglect is not always on purpose. Like, And an example of that is like when a parent has fallen ill. You know, they may have acquired a sickness, whereas they don't have the energy, the time, or the ability to be able to raise their children effectively. It's still the children who suffer because of that. And there are times when the state may step in until mommy can get better. So that's, it's a reasonable, I don't want to say excuse, but it's a reasonable cause. It's a reasonable cause for having to relinquish your children into foster care. Nonetheless, there's still going to be a lot of crying, like, please, no, and psychologically it can weigh heavily on the children because they may feel like they were instrumental in being taken away from their parents. And God forbid that the foster parent is a good ass attentive parent instead of a money hungry, greedy ass, attention seeking ass foster parent. God forbid, this is fucked up to say it. God forbid the foster parent is a better parent than your parent. Like, look, foster parent crib got good heat in it, furniture nice, no rats, roaches, all of the windows go up and down, none of them are cracked. They got a basement, ain't no bullshit down there. I don't see no mice. TVs in most of the rooms, and they all work. And they got channels on them. None of the remotes are broken. Ain't no tape on the back of the remote. Ain't no tape on the back of the remote. You gotta, all of your remotes have the original back on them that click in. What? And they got batteries. You ain't gotta, like, okay, yeah, we good. God forbid foster mom crib is like that. Toe, what up, Toe? Toe says some people low key. Are you saying some people low key kids sell drugs? Or are you saying some people know they kids sell drugs? Let's get it right. Troy McNeil says neglecting to take them to doctor's appointments. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. You know your child is special needs and you ain't been. Oh, that is. Now the thing is, Troy, is that a reasonable excuse? Because that don't sound reasonable. You ain't taking your child to doctor's appointments. Now, not wanting to get your child vaccinated is one thing. Not taking your child for regular checkups and screenings and annual. Kids shouldn't even get annual physicals. Kids need to go to the doctor a few times a year. Like, yo, man, make sure he all right. You know what I mean? Kids they be getting sick. They be making other people sick. They're dangerous. Children are very dangerous. TK Wright says, I feel like foster care is only a concern for those who are economically challenged. Except when there is physical or emotional abuse. Gotta get them kids up out of there. And Cheryl Halsey says, hey, what up, Cheryl? She says, my daughter is a foster parent. There are so many reasons. Yeah. And I've known foster parents. I've known some good ones, and I've known some that was. Let me just say, they've made a stay-at-home mom situation out of man. Yeah, I done seen some shit when it came to them when it comes to foster parents. I'm like, I heard him say shit like, yeah, I'm going to get me a Chinese one next. I'm like, what? What, you choose them out of a lineup? She ain't talking about nothing dealing with the needs of the child. Yeah, I'm going to get me a Chinese one and I'm going to get me a Puerto Rican one. I'm like, okay, what's the number 2 DHS? I said, what's the number 2 DHS? I said, what's the number to DHS? We got to do something about this crazy mess. This foster parents and just trying to get a check. And I understand, but I'm about to come at the neck. Yo, I don't want to make you feel bad, mess up your hustle, but you ain't doing this shit around me. It's from the muscle. I'ma let them know that you ain't representing. I'm not heaven sent, but yeah, that's where I went. And I had to lay the smack down. And I'm not trying to see you play around with no kids' future. I know that they are the future, so I'm not going to mess around and shoot you. But they might if you teach them how to fight and you don't raise them how to get out of their problems, right? So they might have to turn to their hands or put a gun up in there or a knife. Do you understand? Yeah, our babies have to be directed in the right direction. So I'm going to make sure I provide protection. If you can't do that for yourself, then yourself ain't wealth and ain't worth a fucking dime. It's like a crime. You don't play around with for a couple of dollars or trying to get these kids and trying to holler. They might holler because they miss their fam. You done broke up people, their family, and here I am, and here I stand on biz. You know what time it is. I ain't gonna let nobody to fuck up the kids. La, all right. Okay. TK Wright says, because my brother-in-law worked for DHS, I know there are barely and DHS cases in Bryn Mawr, King of Prussia. That's what KOP is for those of y'all who are not from the Philadelphia area. King of Prussia, etc. Then there are. Okay. All right, hold on. Because my brother-in-law worked for DHS, I know that there are barely any DHS cases in Bryn Mawr. Okay, that makes sense. There are hardly any. Well, in a major city like Philadelphia, you're going to see some shit. And but I do know some suburban areas where there are active DHS cases. And they don't like in Chester. Big surprise there, right? I know you're so shocked if you're from the Philadelphia area. You know about there's a little city called Chester about 10 miles outside of Philadelphia. Predominantly black. So naturally, DHS would be active out there. However, they don't call their child protective services DHS. It's not called that. Not in Chester. I don't know about, Yaden or Darby or Sharon Hill or places like that. But by the time you get to Chester, let me see. We can look it up. What is Child Protective Services called in Chester, Pennsylvania? In Chester County. It's not in Chester County, it's in Delaware County. But anyway, in Chester County, Pennsylvania, the agency responsible for Child Protective Services is known as the Chester County Department of Children, Youth, and Families. CYF. I said, okay. Okay, Let me see if I can get it. They still came up. I put it the city of Chester, and yeah, it still came up Chester County. Chester, Pennsylvania is not in Chester County. It's in Delaware County. But okay. I did find an interesting entry, and it says, well, what is enough? Okay. The question was, what is child services called in PA? And then you have the Bureau of Child and Family Services, Department of Human Services. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Prince Silverteeth. He says, this could just be dark humor. No, we're serious today. We is serious. Please, y'all, hit the like button. Please hit the like button. The likes are in single digits. We can do better than that. I know we can do better than that. Let's see. We got 8 votes in the poll. What are we looking like? Okay. To you, is there any reasonable excuse that parents would lose their children to foster care? 62% said yes. 12% said no. And 25% said could be, but I can't think of any. Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. As you come through, please check out the poll, participate. If you would, I'd be very appreciative of it. Check out the poll. Check out the poll. But yeah, man, you know, this whole your kids being taken into custody when the state has custody of your children. I don't know if any of you have been through this. TK, right, with your brother-in-law working for DHS all those years, he may have told you about some of the steps that have to be taken in order for you to get your kids back. Losing them, easy. All it takes is a little bit of neglect, a little bit of problems, some catastrophic of mistakes, but getting them back, you're going to fill out paperwork. You are going to show and prove that you have improved, and you are going to go through all of the steps necessary in order to get your children back. Losing them is easy. Getting them back is difficult. I don't want to say it's hard, but it is. Losing your kids is difficult. Is one of those things. Prince Silverteeth says, I know of a lot of moms that lost their kids after they got addicted to opioids after surgery or back pain, and now their life is spiraling out of control and CPS has to step in. That is sad and it's common. It's sad and it's common. Drugs will get your kids taken away from you. The thing is, back in the crack era, in the 80s and 90s, I'm going to venture to say that not enough kids were taken away. Not enough kids were taken away from families. I've seen some children get raised by crack addicted parents, and the shit was kind of sad. Except it wasn't kind of sad. It was sad as hell. And you can easily be placed in situations where nobody tells. So let's say the family tries to handle the situation. They know that their sister, aunt, mom, or something is on drugs. So they just step in and help the kids. Have the kids stay with them for a while. Make sure that they provide things. Back to school supplies, clothes, hook up their birthdays, Christmases, whatever. Basically, aunties, shout out to all of the good aunties out there, aunties that have taken their nieces and nephews on as their children, blended them right with their kids, and they was raised as brothers and sisters. Shout out to everybody and anybody who has ever been in that situation. It's very common. But as noble as a cause and as a action that it is to take care of somebody's children while their parents are addicted to drugs, you're also not really addressing the situation to make sure that it improves on its own. Like, waiting for a substance abuser to get an epiphany and decide to clean up their lives and stop using or abusing drugs, you'll be waiting for a long time. You'll be waiting for what seems like forever. Okay. TK Wright says court home visits over a certain time period, paperwork, future random home visits. All right. Hold on.
You have a call from.
Hey, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. This is Cheryl.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
Getting a little hard. I just wanted to say this quickly. Yeah, in the foster care system, it's so many different reasons, but at the same time, the foster parent, which is my oldest daughter, it's hard because you don't want to leave them in a foster parent's care too long, because the foster parent starts getting attached too. She has a daughter, a younger daughter, but she, my point is, her last set of children she had for about 8 months, and that it wasn't supposed to be that long. So the children get attached to everybody, and it's hard, when they have to leave. Now, they had to leave 3 months ago, and the mother wanted them to stay with my daughter, but the auntie was willing to take them. I don't know. I didn't find out what that was about, but the mother didn't want them to go with the auntie.
Okay.
And she called my daughter and asked her, could she please keep them? But my daughter can't overstep the system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the auntie, she was willing to take them and everything. And every now and then I'll ask her, did you hear from the kids? That's the last step. A little girl, little boy, you hate to split the kids up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what she said so much. It's 3 children in the same family. But God willing, I hope that won't happen, to nobody. Yeah. But anyway, it's not like a move in, move out situation. She wasn't supposed to have much longer. She did. Like I say, they got used to the riding the bikes in the evening, just all kinds of different things. And it's hard on the baby.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And like I said, it's so many different reasons why the children have to go through foster care. Some of them don't seem legit, but the system, like I said, it is a lot going on, in the system as well, But when you have a parent and you tell that parent, okay, this is what you have to do to get your children back, and then that parent doesn't want to, abide by it because your children are in a good home, it don't work like that. In a minute, someone's going to see it. At this time, nobody would take her children.
Yeah.
Okay, but then the auntie finally stepped up and said she would take them. Like I said, 2, a little girl and a little boy. But the point is, I would hope that it would never get to that, with some parents. But unfortunately, this is not a perfect world, and that's what happens. Yeah.
It happens a lot.
I just wanted to share that a little bit. It's not much, but at any rate, there are a lot of different reasons why they'll take the children. And then sometimes it is because of just nosy neighbors. I have a niece that is a nosy neighbor. She called the CPS on this one lady, and it caused a bunch of ruckus. She had to move away from where she was living because threats were being put on her, which I can understand it because, like I said, my niece is nosy and she doesn't know what she's talking about all the time.
Yeah.
And once they, when the foster care gets in your life, yes, it is a lot. Yeah, they dig and then blah blah blah. Anyway, but anyway, I called because my phone is tripping. Okay, I love everybody in the chat. I love all of you. Just in case I don't get a chance to say bye, but I love everybody. Okay, y'all have a blessed day.
You too.
Okay?
Thanks for calling in. I appreciate you. All right.
Okay. Bye bye.
Good call. Good call, Cheryl Halsey. Always calling in with the good word. And when she was talking, I was thinking, like, it seems like I got two things out of the call. Very good call. I got two things out of it. It seems to hurt more when you care as a foster parent, when you actually care about your children or the children that you have in the foster system that you have in your custody. It can be hard for the children. It can be hard for you to let the children go back, especially if you know that the children are going back into a dangerous environment or one that hasn't been improved to your liking. And I imagine it can be really, really heartbreaking to have to judge a situation outside of your own family. Like, it's one thing to feel like a child should be in a better situation. It's another thing to actually have some kind of power over that, to make it happen or to prevent it from happening. And so, once we get past the minding our own business phase, like, one thing about the Black community is we always have this thing about minding your own business. Mind your business. I take care of my kids the way I want to take care of them. They my kids. And so you don't have nothing to say about this. And sometimes we're able to follow those instructions. Sometimes it's not. We're not able to follow them because we know that something is going on. The other thing that I got out of the phone call was that when you're dealing with people who really just want to see you do bad, like Cheryl was saying, nosy neighbors or whatever, but you may have a neighbor, a family member, or somebody that doesn't want to see you do well. And I have known some situations where people have lied and said that children were being neglected, said that children were being abused, said that children were being hurt, that they didn't have proper accommodations, living quarters, living conditions, and none of it was true. But the amount of red tape, the amount of problems, the amount of systemic processes that you have to go through in order to prove that you didn't do something. Proving that you did do something is probably a lot easier than proving that you didn't do something. And you can become resentful that you have to show proof that you didn't do anything. Like, this is my house, these are my kids, they are my responsibility. Why should I have to prove to some people that I don't know and who don't know me? Why should I have to prove to them that I'm a good parent? In the way that they say that I have to be a good parent in order to prove that I'm taking care of my children. My children aren't hurt. My children aren't dumb. My children aren't weak. My children they're good children and they're in a good situation. Yeah, I might be struggling a little bit financially, but who isn't? My children are provided for. They don't want for anything. Well, the little buggers want something all the time, but they don't want anything that they don't need. I'm sorry. They don't they don't have needs that aren't being fulfilled. We're taking care of the wants and the needs around here. So for somebody to call DHS on me and make me have to go through all of this crazy stuff in order to prove that I have been abusing my children or neglecting my children or harming my children. It ain't right, but some people have done it. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. If you got a neighbor who has a designated handicap parking spot, and you've been parking in that spot because it says 20-minute or 30-minute limit. So even if somebody doesn't have a disability, they can park in that spot. Yeah, you keep parking in that spot all you want. You keep on parking in that spot like it's sweet like that because it ain't no other spots on the block, or you don't feel like parking at the end at either end of the street because your lazy ass likes to be able to walk right into your house straight from where you park. It's not an unusual thing to do. These are big city problems I'm describing right now. But you keep parking in that neighbor spot and think that you have small children and that neighbor ain't gonna make a move. All right. She want to keep parking in my spot. All right, I got something for her. Here comes that DHS van again. Here comes the DHS van again. Here the DHS van again. They hopping out like they got a couple of nines. Yo, that shit is crazy. We about to find out whose house are they going into. Ooh, Wendy house. Ooh. It's about to be bad. She gonna be mad. She ain't even home from work. They ain't looking good. They about to get jerked, about to get removed. They said that they was latchkey kids and got to prove that they, yeah. DHS roll up to your crib and you ain't home, but the kids are. And they too young to be home by themselves. It's gonna be problems.
You have a call from.
It's gonna be problems. My man, Troy Diesel up in the house. What's good?
You the man. I'm a fan. Vainglorious to the podcast family.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. What's good?
I'm sitting up here listening to you. And every time I turn around, the rap bars, the situation is crazy. Who house is they going into? Oh, Wendy house.
yo, you know Wendy cribs. You know what I mean? Wendy take care of her kids, but
I gotta remember what I'm dealing with.
Yeah,
what's
man.
going on, man?
Man, you know I'm feeling like a real man should. Just talking about this situation,
Amen, bro.
Just talking about this situation. This shit gets deep.
This is a serious situation because, you know, you were sitting here and you were saying about things. I mean, the basic norms of DHS taking your children is, you know, like the abuse and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, like I've seen people get called on, the hospital will call on your kids. If your own doctor's office, the primary care will call DHS on you if you continuously don't bring them to the appointment.
Mm-hmm.
They would do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't continue, they'll even call if you don't give them the vaccine shot. Vaccine, you know that shit.
Yeah.
If you don't get them the shots, they'll call on them. They'll call DHS. DHS will come to your house, or they'll call you, and there'll be a problem.
Major.
Yes. Like my testimony to that was when my oldest son was a baby, his mother was doing her hair, and he pulled down the curlers, and it burned the side of his face, his ear and his face. So when we took him to the hospital, we explained that to him. That next day, DHS call.
I know they did.
Yes.
They don't know. They
Came
don't.
out,
They don't know if your son wasn't getting treated like Penny from Good Times. They don't know.
That's the truth.
You gonna get that call because the same thing happened to my nephew. He was messing around with the iron he pulled the cord of the iron, and the iron board was hot the iron was hot on the ironing board. Pulled it down. He had a fresh V-shaped iron mark, complete with the steam holes right on his cheek. You think when we took that boy to the hospital, you think we have to answer no questions? Like, yo, you fucked the young boy up. Like, yeah. I swear I didn't. I seen it happen. It happen. You know what I mean?
Listen, it's and the worst part of it is that it's not the fact that they put him in foster care. The worst part of it is that they put him in foster care and is at risk, like Cheryl said, that it becomes hard for these foster parents because some of the foster parents are taking a liking to these kids. Mm-hmm. And at some point in time, some of them, they might want to adopt them, but they really can't because they have no rights to do that.
Well, it can actually turn over into an adoption situation if it's uncontested.
Depending on if the mother or the parents or mother or parents don't make the right moves to get them back.
Yeah, if they don't contest it. If they don't contest it's still a long process. It ain't easy.
Very long.
Because the foster parents have to be vetted as well. You got to make sure that they don't just have ambitions of, because foster parents get paid. So you got to make, the state is supposed to make sure, the county or the state is supposed to make sure that they ain't just trying to, stack money. Because I've known some, listen, man, I knew these crackheads that was foster parents. Yeah.
We know some of the same things. We know things and we seen things.
Man, have I.
Man. As you say, that thing be thinking.
Yeah, the thing be definitely thinking. And I'm gonna tell you something. Man. When I was 9 years old, I spilled a hot ass pot of oodles of noodles. I was pouring the oodles of noodles in the bowl, and I wasn't paying attention. Shit slipped out my hand and burnt my whole stomach. At 9 years old, a pot of soup could burn your whole stomach. We never had to answer no questions about no DHS, from no DHS, Child Protective Services, none of that. Never a question. Mm-hmm. And it shows you the progression coming from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to where we are now. So we can be pissed off.
Because you know why?
Mm-hmm. Well, there are a variety of reasons, honestly. Well,
let me hear yours.
Well, honestly, they should have investigated what happened to me.
Yes.
To be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because perhaps I shouldn't have been cooking. You know what I mean? Now, nothing was going to stop me because I kids, when a kid learns how to cook, they learn how to eat. Me and my neighbor from across the street, we was like brother and sister. We used to race, making the oodles and noodles. She got one eye on the stove, I got the other eye on the stove. So we was doing shit like that, and having fun. But you don't know what's going on in people's houses. For all the state or the county could have been concerned, as far as they know, I could have been, not being fed properly. So maybe oodles and noodles was the only thing I get. Well, see, oodles and noodles back in the day was actually a premium meal. It wasn't like it didn't have the label of being cheap like it is now. You know what I mean? We used to get the oodles and noodles from the Chinese store that had nothing but the Mandarin writing on it and shit. You know what I mean? It ain't had no English on it. Yeah, that was the good shit. But
skip the block. You couldn't wait for mom to come on with the block of cheese so you can make grilled cheeses.
Yeah. So, but there was nobody. There was nobody on the block or anywhere around my household that would have said anything about any problems going on in the house. But the state should have had more responsibility, because if you think about the number, we act like today there's so much child neglect and abuse and all of that kind of stuff. Think about the things we swept under the rug when we was young. The things we saw get swept under the rug. We knew it wasn't right. Like, yo, kids coming to you here you are in the 3rd and 4th grade, and you got you got classmates coming to school smelling just like pee. Like, what was that about? Let that shit happen now. It ain't gonna go over well. You know what I mean? They coming to see you with the quickness now. But we let that shit go. We in every grade, I had somebody up until about probably 7th grade. We had somebody who came to school smelling like pee. What was the reason? How did you make it from home to school smelling like straight piss? No bath in the morning? No, you know what I mean? Like, are you wearing the piss that you peed on yourself at home, or are you sleeping in somebody else's piss? Those are questions that would definitely come out fast now, but back then it just didn't. So,
Well, the reason being now that everything is so strict, because DHS throughout the years, especially in the 80s and the 90s, has dropped the ball majorly with some kids passing away from the neglect and stuff of parents. So now everything is strict, is so major. As soon as something happens, they have to jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard, there's many a times we looked at the news and you heard of a kid passing away from neglect, or parents not taking to get their shots and taking the doctor appointments, or being abused and stuff. And it's to the point right now that kids, even the fucked up part is that today's kids use DHS as an escape route to not get disciplined, especially when they're wrong.
These kids today are snitches. We would have never, man. Imagine
we would have got fucked up even more.
Yo, we wouldn't have made it to DHS. There's no way they can get here on time.
I told my kids, I'm gonna tell you what my kids. I told my son one time, because I told you, I think I told the podcast the story about my
I ain't saying nothing. Go ahead.
Hello? Oh yeah, I told you the story about me having to discipline my son for cursing the teacher out.
Oh yeah.
And when I got done, I was like, look, you can call DHS, WDAS, NBC, you can call anybody. If they can come here and get you and they take you, then they can provide for you. Because if I don't discipline you now and tell you what's wrong, and yet tell you I still love you, but this had to be done, then you're going to go out there and do something wrong and do something even worse where the cops might have to shoot you, or you're going to get locked up. But it's going to be one or the other. You're not, if I'm bringing you up with morals and trying to show you respect, then you're going to come up with that. And if you disrespect and when you walk out this door, that you're walking out under my umbrella, then I'm going to have to put my umbrella down and I'm going to hit you with that damn umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to say, I love you. Give me a hug. Let's eat.
Yeah, I understand.
But at the end of the day, and that's the whole thing about it. But see, and I told my son that. I tell all my kids that. If I got to discipline you, don't mean I love you. I got to discipline you out of love. So if you use that system as what you want to use it as, then you're part of their system. And if you go to a foster family, that's your family. Don't even worry about this. I'm not coming back for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you're not using a system to benefit you because you're wrong.
Okay, now that's all well and good, but when we're talking about losing custody of your children, that's a serious issue, and we can say a lot of things about it until it actually happens to us. But when you deal with somebody who it has happened to, and you see the problems that come out of that, you see how it spirals out of control, or how you see the ripple effect of how it affects not just the children or the child or the children that have been taken away. Because yeah, if one child is getting abused in the home, what's going to happen to the other 3 or 4 of their brothers and sisters?
Mm-hmm.
They don't get to stay. Everybody out.
So they all got to go. One go.
Everybody gotta go. So you gotta try to get back for. That would be like having 3 or 4 cars impounded at once. You gotta go to court for every one of them. They all gotta be accounted for. And God forbid that somebody just was just trying to be mean and had a vendetta against you, and so they call DHS or CPS to fuck with your life, just to give you something hard to do, and it happens. But when we talk about,
I got a cousin that was doing great, had a great job, was living in a house, was doing this, that, other. Then COVID hit, and everything shut down, and she was distraught. So she went to the father, right? And so I guess the father had a new girl, and the girl was pregnant, and she went to the child's father, and was like, "Look, I'm gonna have to send you our son, because right now I'm gonna have to go live in a shelter, and I don't want him living in the shelter with me. So when I get back on my feet, I come back and get him." So when she got back on her feet, they didn't want to go through the DHS system. She didn't want to do that. But when she got back on her feet, he was giving her baby back. Talking about, we got a $1 million family because the girl that had the baby had a girl. We got a $1 million family. I'm not giving my son to you because you're unstable and this, that, and other. And mentally, she didn't lost it. Like I tried to explain to her, I said, if you get yourself together and you do everything that you got to do, that's right. There's no authority that will keep your son away from you because you're the mother. But even without, sometimes, even when you don't go through the system, there's still some bullshit behind it. DHS it can be a beautiful entity, but it also going to be a harsh reality for the person that goes through it.
Well, okay, so if you compare CPS, DHS, or whatever to the custodial parent situation, like just like the one you just described, where where your cousin's baby father didn't want to give your cousin back custody of the child. That's just as much paperwork. That's just as many court proceedings. The cops come, getting involved in all of that. And a lot of women think that just because they have their children, that they have established custody of their children, and it's not the same. So
a lot of people don't know, son, that nobody has the right to the son. The state has the right to your children,
and unless you go and establish custody. Legal custody.
There you go. A lot of people don't understand that.
So a
lot of people don't know that you have to establish custody within the system.
Listen, I know men. I know men that have fathers who have rolled up to go get their child with the cops, and baby mom was like, "What the fuck is this? This is my child. I have custody of the child." And cops had that court order, that custody order, like, nah, he went down and applied for custody. He got it. You got to let him go. Now you can go, and now you mom gotta go and apply for shared custody or joint custody. But right now, little Eam, Karima, Isha, and Mel Kwan, yeah, they all, they going with daddy. The fucked up part about it is he might only be the father to one of them or 2 of them. He took all of them. DNA my ass. These my kids.
You gotta take all of them.
Yeah, it's crazy because some of these parents out here just out for a check. You know what I mean? They turn the whole special needs thing into a fucking payday. Like I got a special needs child. Psst, yeah, and I'm getting $1,500 a month for him. Ain't nobody, and I need that. It's not something that's talked about all the time, but when it gets spoken about, you're like, oh, okay, oh, yeah, so they are. So, but you know, I'm glad that we pivoted a little bit to the whole custody thing between the parents, because that's just as it can be just as devastating. Losing your kids can cause you to spiral into a depression. I'm just going to put it out there.
It's somewhat almost like it's almost on a death type part, but the person's not dead. They're still here. But you got to realize something. The society, the norms of how society goes is, you, even though you're in a relationship and you and let's say you're married or you got a girlfriend, the woman is always seen as the custody provider of the child. They always put woman's needs and woman first because she carried the baby for 9 months. And the fucked up part is that it trickles down to the kids because the kids put the mother first over the father.
A lot of times, yeah.
A lot of times. I mean, shit, look at Mother's and Father's Day. That tells you how Mother's Day, you got 2,550 fucking cards. Father's Day, you might got 3 cards.
You might.
500 commercials for Mother's Day, 3. Look, Hardware Man, Home Depot, and Men's Warehouse.
Look, a father got 5 kids. He got 2 cars and a pair of socks. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Rock out.
And one of them got a shirt roller and some fried rice for him.
Well, you might have got a Father's Day apron so you can get on the grill. You might.
Yeah, so you can cook on your day.
So you can get on the grill. Yeah. Do your thing, Dad. Yeah. But yeah, you know, it's funny guys. I'm sitting there thinking about what we talking about, and I guess a father taking custody of his children. It's sort of like he could he be a DEI dad? He a DEI hired dad. That ain't he only a dad because he ain't a real dad. He DEI dad. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no father supposed to have custody of his children.
A father trying to take custody of his children is like a man saying that he was raped by a woman.
I'll tell you what,
it's not seen in the same category as a woman saying the same thing.
It's true, but I'll tell you what, I've never seen a father that applied and received custody of his children that seemed unjustified in any way. When a father gets custody of his child, full custody, that mom is normally fucked up. Her shit is bad. You know, and it ain't normally, it's not normally too many people who would contest it. Like, yo, I don't really blame. You know what I mean? She might be on drugs. She might be a
fucked up anyway.
Man. Yeah, Candy. That's the name.
And that's the thing
about
them
it. Candy kids.
They
ain't candy kids no more.
But see, it takes that much for a judge to have to give custody to a father, but it takes the bare minimum for the judge to say no. The child is staying with the mother when it comes to a man.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like my older brother, when one of my nieces, when my second niece mother passed away, right, and his other child mom was on drugs, he didn't want to be there for his kids, so my mom had to assume custody for them because, to be perfectly honest, he wanted to put them in foster care. My mom was like, "You ain't doing that with my grandkids." And now as they got older, you want to be the father to them that the father they didn't have, or you want to be a good father, a good grandfather to your kids' children. But you got to remember, your kids remember what you didn't do, what you wanted to do with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of that shit scars them. That DHS shit scars kids. And I agree with you. A lot of kids should have been taken from their kids but DHS dropped the ball on them.
Yeah. I mean,
they dropped the ball.
They dropped the ball, but a lot of times the ball wasn't even given to them to even play with back in the day.
True.
Now True. They've had the opportunity to drop the ball. So now they have to be more on point. But earlier when I was telling you that it's a money game. It's a money game.
Yeah.
DHS workers got to get paid. Judges, moderators, they all have to get paid. Court reporters, they all got to get paid. People, administrative assistants, administrators, they all got to get paid. And
the worst thing about DHS and custody and stuff like all that is the vindictiveness. If you're doing it to be vindictive, and the system finds out, you should be charged with that. It should be a felony, a charge for that. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day,
what do you mean? What are you saying?
Meaning that if you've been vindictive, if somebody just calling DHS on you to be vindictive, you understand what I'm saying?
That's like a woman blaming a baby on a father that she know is not the father.
Right. You should be a charge for that. And like if you blame, let's say this, a person that taking care of a baby that he thought it was his for almost 5, 6, 7 years, and you had him on child support. And for those 5, 6, 7 years, he's been paying child support on time, not only going through that, but also going through the mental anguish and the stress of times when he couldn't do it, or times that he couldn't get his kid, or you putting him through the stress of things that he's not doing for his kid, and y'all not even together. And then all of a sudden, he gets a DNA test and finds out that the kid ain't his.
Yeah.
Oh no, there should be some type of justification.
But just like T. Carey Wright said, yes, but they have to prove that the person is being vindictive. They could have saw something that made them, justified in calling DHS. Like you could have just your kids could have been bad that day, and you yelled at them because they didn't get the food out of the car, or because they didn't take out the trash. Well, I mean, did you yell at them? Yup. Was it loud? Yeah. But I mean, I don't hit my kids or nothing like that. I don't be beating them. Yeah, well, so you're not going to be able. First of all, the person who snitches on you can remain anonymous. That's number one. Number two, you basically got to make sure that you do the things that will prevent any of this shit from happening. As far as losing your kids to Child Protective Services. But concentrating on who told rather than what the problem is as far as your children being losing custody of your children. Yeah, you don't want to do that, because once they see
no, you have to put the focus on the situation that they're saying that the reason why DHS was called.
Yeah. Well,
that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But if they're calling, let's say they're calling and saying that you neglecting your kids and this, that, and other, right? And your house is dirty. You know what I'm saying? Or they're not being fed, right? If they come to the house and all, if you don't have to change anything and everything is there, right? Then to me, that's just somebody being vindictive or trying to create a problem within your unit.
No.
If that's not something
that you're right about that. The thing is, there are so many parents that are neglectful, that are violent, that are abusive, that are unfit to be parents. That concentrating on who told that's a whole different issue. Because they
Like
just
I'm gonna give you a prime example. It was a rapper that just got killed. He got killed with his 5-year-old daughter, right? And the girl and the child, they're having a balloon ceremony for the daughter. This girl is walking around with the mother is walking around with a Louis Vuitton satchel in front of her and a wad of money holding it to her ear like she talking on the phone.
Mhm.
They got a GoFundMe page for the daughter that's at $53,000. And she's people mourn differently. I've never seen a person mourn with money to their ears, celebrating that you got money to your ears with a Louis Vuitton statue in front, and you smiling and you happy. That's not a sense of mourning,
right.
to me. That's a sense of celebration, and I can understand the mourning, but at some point in time, when that's the part that just fucks my mind up. It sends my mind into bewilderment of not understanding people and the things that people do. Especially when it comes to your child, because if you're doing that and she's gone, what was you doing when she was here?
Yeah. See, but see, that's the
You
thing.
understand what I'm saying?
No, I understand what you're saying, but us if we can't make the exceptions the rules, and sometimes we'll take an extreme example like the one that you had, and we'll take that to be representative of the majority of what's going on, and we can't do that, because at the end of the day, the welfare of the child, the safety of the child is the most important thing. So but it becomes more than just a health issue; it's also a social issue. When we have a situation where we have to make sure our kids are getting the proper care and training and upbringing that they require and that they deserve. You know what I mean? So when we start talking about custody, either way, whether the state takes your kids away or whether you lose your kids to, when you really think about it, if your baby mom or your baby dad take your kids away from you, they get custody of your kids, you're probably dealing with the hurt, pain, or anger of y'all breaking up or the details surrounding that. And then on top of that, the child that came out of this broken relationship is now being taken by them, and who knows, they might be bad mouthing me. Who knows if my child is still going to love me? When I gotta go see them, or when I get to have them on the weekends and shit like that. It's a tough situation. It's very, very emotional. But I want to make sure that we talk about the other part of the custody thing, because the title of the show is Taken into Custody. So of course, the way I wanted it to go was that on the first hour I wanted to talk about the children, the parents losing custody of the children, and then the other half of the show I wanted to talk about this incarceration thing. Offenders, repeat offenders who keep going back and forth to jail. Whether it's their first offenses or whether they have returned to prison because of probation or parole violation. Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, but like a lot of people really don't take into consideration what happens to a person when they are arrested, and charged and detained. It's not sweet like that, So when a person goes through this a lot, you got to be thinking like, yo, man, we don't always think about what happens with that. But look at it this way. When you get locked up, let's say, shoot, most people who get arrested don't see it coming. They wake up in the morning. It's just like people who pass away on their last day on earth. They don't know.
No, they get arrested for just get arrested for a certain, like the DA just up or just
hold on. No, I'm just talking about being arrested, period. I'm just because when you're taken into custody, you're taken into custody. When the cops put when the cops put the cuffs on you and they put you in the squad car and they take you to the precinct or take you back upstate, you have been taken into custody. You know what I mean? Now, who they didn't know that you just went to the store and you just put a pot of neck bones on the stove. You went to the store and then you got locked up and shit. Who gonna take them neck bones off the stove? It's silly on some real shit. As silly as it sounds, you know what I mean? These are things because the cops are not going to take you. They're not going to spin you by the crib and let you turn that pile of neck bones off. You know what I mean?
Tyrone, your dad locked up. Can you turn that pile of neck bones on?
Yo, because when you get locked up, all property that you have, somebody is going to have to take care of that. You got a car, you got a house, you got rent. Whatever, you know, you have credit cards and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to be able to pay any of those things. You're not going to be able to take care of that business from jail. So somebody is going to have to help you out. So while you're when you lose custody, personal custody of your freedom, yeah, it's tough in more ways than people think about.
Let me ask you. I just want to ask you one question, son. Because I was in a barbershop and we was talking. And he was talking about Biden and him signing off on that criminal law bill and 3 strikes law and stop and frisk. How many strikes do you think a person deserves before they get locked up?
Before they get locked up? 1.
Yeah. Thank you. Because I'm
you only get 1. That's the fault.
If you a criminal. Now, if you didn't commit the crime, I can understand your plight. And I understand because a lot of people, when they sit back and they discuss the criminal law, the criminal legislation that was put in there by Biden and Bill Clinton and all of them back then, they don't know that there was hundreds of black clergy.
And the Congressional Black Caucus. The Congressional Black Caucus is what got the 94 crime bill passed. Black people got that shit.
And the reason being because there was so much murder and so many killings going on because of the drug epidemic.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. You know? But at the end of the day, when you talk about a 3-strike law, people think that's wrong. Well, that was just because it was the black community and it was brown and yellow people. No, that was because if you're doing a crime 3 times, if you do a crime 1 time and you get off, okay. If you do it the second time, well, maybe you shouldn't have done the same crime that you did the first time. Maybe you got to go a different way, like get a job.
Well, no. No, the way that the 3 strikes thing went was whatever crime you got locked up for, that was a strike. Listen to what I'm saying. You got arrested, processed, and tried for whatever crime that you did. A felony, though. It had to be a felony. The 3 strikes rule didn't count for misdemeanors. So if you punch somebody in the face and it wasn't deemed assault or aggravated assault, that wasn't part of the 3 strikes. The 3 strikes were 3 felonies that you have been convicted of, which would label you as a career criminal. And that meant that that 3rd strike gave you life. That's what the 3 strikes was about. It didn't have anything to do with whether you would get locked up.
You can't tell people that. Because you would think that the 3 strike rule was if you got locked up for trying to take a bag of chips out of the store.
No, that wasn't what it was.
No.
That wasn't what it was. Back then people knew. People who I tell you who knew what it was all about. The goddamn felons. They knew.
There you go.
The ones who got convicted of life. It was 25 to life. It wasn't. They still were eligible for parole or whatever. It's just that 3rd strike labeled them as a career criminal. And that was not, that did not just affect black people. I'm sorry. I know we like to think that, but think about the Hells Angels and the pagans. You think they didn't get caught up in that shit? They had just as many felonies as black people, and they suffer behind. What? If you had 3 felonies, that you were 3 strikes and you are in jail. Now I know we made it a black thing because we may have been unjustifiably convicted in some of them. But the thing is, if you got 1, that's one thing. If you got 2, that's another thing. You mean to tell me you were unjustifiably convicted of 3? What's the likelihood?
Right.
Like you gonna own one of them.
And that's the thing. Like if you when you're taken into custody, you're taken into custody. You know, but you also know, like, when you're wrong, you're wrong. You know you're wrong. You know you quit. You know, it's just like the situation with Steady B, Cool C, and all of them. You know damn well you was cornered. They got you. All right, y'all got me. Take me in. No, you want to kill a cop.
Wait a minute. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. Hold on. This T Carrie Wright. She said in the comments. She said, and if you turn your neck bones off and take little man with you to the store, DHS could be called because you had him outside at all times of the night. Yeah.
Oh,
but hold on. But you know what the fucked up part about this? You know what the fucked up part about this shit is? Niggas is gonna spin this story and say he got locked up over neck bones. He got his kids taken from him over neck bones.
But see, the funny part is, what adds to his son is that then we gotta go back to the DHS thing because he got his kid taken from him because he's getting locked up because of something else.
No, he got his kid taken from him because of the neck bones. Had he not had to go to the store and get some beef bouillon cubes, his kids would still be with him. But no.
Oh, man.
Just like when Meek Mill got when he committed a parole violation, they kept saying he got locked up over wheeling. Like, motherfucker, it wasn't just wheeling the bike, you violated the parole. I mean, I think they should have let it go too. But you knew what the rules were. Oh, they locked me up over wheeling.
When you know the parameters, you should know what not to do. If you go in prison and they tell you not to drop the soap, don't pick it up if you drop it. They told you not to. Now you dropped it, and now you went from Tyrone, and now your name's Teresa now.
Yeah. Yeah. That jail shit. That jail shit is. I don't understand cats who can't seem to maintain their freedom. I don't get it. It's not that hard, but for some people, yeah, evidently that thing is like the hardest thing in the world to do.
I'm gonna tell you what I told my niece. My niece's father, who was getting locked up on a regular. Ever since he was a kid, he was getting. My niece is now in her mid-30s, right? And he been getting locked up for years and continuously getting locked up for years. And I told her, I said, you know what? If you get locked up the first year, okay. Second year, okay. Fifth, I'll just go 5 years because you just do not want to work for nobody. But after that, I gotta let you know something about your father. She said, what? I said, your father fucking some man in prison that he in love with.
Oh boy.
Because don't no man want to be around a bunch of them men. No man.
I can't see myself being in a cell with another man sweating, him making noises and grunting because he got to relieve himself, and then he got to take a towel and put over the area where he got to go to the bathroom, and you got to smell him go to the bathroom. I can't see. I can't fathom that.
Listen,
I don't want to be around a bunch of another. I don't want to be around a bunch of another men.
Nobody really wants to do it, but the thing is, there's so much more to incarceration than just losing your freedom. The mentality behind it, the psychology behind not being able to function in society in a way that you will be able to keep your freedom instead of losing it. That's the problem. So you oftentimes you're talking about people who exhibit highly antisocial behavior. And by antisocial, I'm not talking about you just don't be shaking people's hands or saying hi. I mean antisocial as in you are unable to function around people in society in a way that's not violent, that's not offensive, that's not hurtful, that's not questionable, that's not in some way potentially dangerous. You are a danger. You know, like you just don't seem to think that rules apply to you. Everybody breaks rules at one time or another, but you think that it's your God-given right to break the rules, and you don't do enough to try to help your situation. Instead, you step on the gas. You step on the gas even harder to go faster instead of braking and saying, "Hey, listen, I realize that that's not the way to go or the thing to do." So when you talk about the psychology of going back and forth to jail, even if you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend in jail, you just may not be able to. Okay, like I've known drug dealers that just couldn't be talked out of selling drugs. Now there's a lot that go along with that because lack of education leads to criminal behavior, because the less education you have, the less options that you know about to make money legally and in a healthy way, in a productive way. You know, so if you're exposed to a bunch of people who are hustling legal, like if you are exposed to a bunch of t-shirt and sock sellers and electronics, or even knockoff Timberland boots and Air Force Ones or whatever, if you're exposed to a bunch of them, then when you see them getting money that way, you're more likely to follow that example. If you see somebody, if you're exposed to parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins, and neighbors going to work every day, working hard, making a good living, and being able to get the things that they want, you're going to be more encouraged to do that. The same way as when you are raised around a bunch of high school dropouts and a bunch of welfare recipients and a bunch of people who are living pillow to post, being fed hand to mouth, being dependent all the time, and having to scheme, rob, or participate in some kind of criminal behavior in order to make ends meet, you're going to be likely to take those chances. You may not think about making a career out of it, but it's going to be harder for you to think outside of, okay, how can if I need $5,000 by, let's see, it's the 15th. If I need $5,000 by the 1st of the month, by April Fool's Day, what's the quickest way for me to get it? Am I going to be able to go to work and make $5,000 by the 1st of the month after taxes? Probably not. I know a way I can do it though. I can go ahead and work this pack. I got 500. I'm 4,500 away from my goal. I got this 500. I can go to Poppy, or I can go to, my old head, and he can give me I don't know, maybe he can give me an 8-ball on consignment, and I can work this way up to this stack. These 5 stacks that I need. You figure I got 2 weeks to do it. First of all, I got to get co-signed to be able to go on the block to do it. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot that goes into it, but that may be the only way that you see a way to make money. Just like just like I've done this experiment for years and years. I've asked black people, all right, name 3 millionaires that you've never seen on TV. And they be stumped as hell. Because when we think about millionaires, we think about entertainment. So what do our kids think about? The only forms of wealth that we see are what we see in the media. And that means that our kids only have that example as well. So they don't see any way that they can be uber successful unless they jump, shoot, pass, catch, run, act, sing, rap, dance. That's the only, they don't know about building a business. They don't know about generational wealth. They don't know about money, so much money that you can't show it at one time. They don't know about that. And the parents don't know either. So we have a big problem here. And unfortunately, the problems that we have lead us down the road of criminal activity, which leads right into the penitentiary. And we make excuses for it. I've known niggas who think that going to jail is a rite of passage. In other words, they do not think that a black man can make it from the cradle to the grave without going to prison in between there sometime, at least for a minute. You got to at least do some time in the county. That's sad as fuck, but it's real. It's our reality. Even in trailer parks and where a lot of poor white people are, I'm not sure if they factor jail into their life's activities the way black people do. And it's disproportionate to our population. There are more white people in jail, in prison, than black people. But we only have 13% of the population being black. So for us to have 40% locked up, that's a big difference from being, I don't know, let's say 60% of the population or 65% of the population, and you only have 20% that are locked up. 20% of y'all that are locked up or whatever. Y'all, in terms of raw numbers, it's just like welfare. There are more white people on welfare, but not disproportionate to their situation. I mean, their population. There are a lot of black people and Latinos on welfare, but it's so disproportionate to their population, it doesn't make sense. You know, and that's why it kills me when I hear somebody say like, black people, we got money. You know, they act like we broke like that. We got money. And then when I challenge them, they get mad at me all the time. But when I challenge them, I'll be like, who has money? And then what do? They start naming off superstars. They start naming off athletes. And I say, yeah. Okay. Who in your family got money? Who in your neighborhood got money? The same kind of money that you're talking about with those unaccessible athletes and entertainers that you're naming. Who got it? Who's close? Who do you know? Who do you have in your phone that you can dial who is worth 8 digits? 8 figures, I should say. Who do you know? I can't even. There's nobody in my phone that has 8 figures. Because if I had somebody who's making 8 figures in my phone, you can best believe I would be making 7 by now. So we all have work to do. You understand what I'm saying? We all have work to do, but we don't even recognize our situation. So this whole incarceration situation is too common for us, even when it's not in our immediate household. Our nuclear families and stuff like that. Yeah, my kids are protected. Your kids are protected. But many of the kids that are protected from this shit don't even know why. They don't even know why. You know, the first time I got arrested, I was in college. That don't make no sense. You know what I mean? It don't make no sense. Well, actually, it was the second time. The first time was when I was 16 and it was a BB gun. But you know, I mean, we not going there. Yeah, you know, I mean, I only had to go to youth study center for a little hearing, and they released me for probation to my mom. Like, if he start fucking up, just come right on back down here and tell on him, and we'll come get his little punk ass and put him in Glen Mills. You want to go to Glen Mills? You want to go to Slayton Farms? Do ya? All right. Anyway, like, no, send him to Hershey. Anyway, so but yeah, you know, when we talk about this whole taken into custody thing, whether we're talking about whether we're talking about foster care, DHS, CPS, or whatever, whether we're talking about one parent taking custody of the children from the other parent, these are things that if we didn't have to concentrate on these things, we could probably be a whole lot more productive or whatever. When we start talking about advancing our cause and advancing our people and improving our condition and all of that, these are things that we have to shore up first. But in order to get it together, it can't be just say no to drugs. That shit don't work. We gotta get rid of. If you want to talk about limiting or stopping drug use, you got to stop the reasons. You got to stop sobriety from being so unfulfilling. There is no reason to use drugs or even alcohol if your sobriety gives you everything that you want or need. That's the problem. Sobriety ain't doing it for you, so you escape into substance abuse. And I mean, it sounds, and I don't want to oversimplify it because I may be doing just that. But I understand a lot of the root causes. I can't fix everybody's root cause. But at some point, we have to get on the page of improvement. Everything starts at one. So we have to identify what the one is going to be. Because my one may be different from your one may be different from their one. We can't, as black people, we can't get the one together. So us getting up to 10, well, you see what happens. You see what happens. So this shit is tough, man. But look.
Yes, it is, man.
We got 5 minutes, man. We about to get on out of here. Give me your final thoughts and let's route.
Yeah, but I agree with you 100% on what you just said, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't like it. Well, I mean, it's on the same topic because it's about getting a car. What do you think about stop and frisk?
I think that Sherelle Parker need to be slapped upside the back of her head. You know what I mean? Stop and frisk. Have you ever seen somebody get stop and frisk?
No, I haven't.
I have. And when I saw it, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was sitting in my car at the corner of my block. I'm sitting in the car, warming the car up. And I see the cops roll up on this young boy like they was looking for him. Both of them hop out, 2 white cops. They hop out on him, put him up against the car, pat him down, and start asking him some questions. Next thing you know, they jump back in the car and roll off like, oh, that was the wrong one. Like they was looking for somebody else. So when he came down, he was walking down the street past my car. And I rolled down the window and said, yo, young boy, what was that? He said, oh, man. And he said, hey, that was stop and frisk. I said, what? He said, yeah, man. He said, I go through that about 2-3 times a day, every day. I said, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dog. He said, nah, old head. That's how it be. He said it like it wasn't no big thing. Like it wasn't no big thing to him because he like, I'm not dirty, so I ain't gotta worry about it. No, man, that's a violation of your constitutional rights. The fuck out of here. How could a black woman who has a black son implement stop and frisk? And you a Democrat? The fuck out of here. Throw that bitch to the GOP. That did it for me. It was bad enough. She sicked the Philadelphia Parking Authority on everybody. But that stop and frisk, like I can deal with PPA, but that stop and frisk shit, I can never support that or anybody who implements that shit. No. Because I know damn well if I go down to Northern Liberties or if I go into South Philly, the east side of South Philly, the closer I get to the water, the less chance the chances of me as a white man getting ever seeing what stop and frisk is about. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, we not doing that. We not doing that. I feel about stop and frisk the way I feel about Elon Musk. That ain't a good that ain't a good feeling.
It's not a good thing at all.
That ain't that no good. That no good. So in closing, I want to say, and I want to say this respectfully. Fuck Sherelle Parker and fuck stop and frisk. Respectfully.
Okay.
All right.
Respectfully. And also, we should also understand she shouldn't even be able to come up with stop and frisk, considering she can't even spell eagles.
We elected a dummy. I thought she was. She not dumb, but she makes catastrophic mistakes. You know what I mean? She would be Jasmine Crockett if she was on her game, and she ain't. You know what I mean? She got a ways to go, but she gonna be all right. We stuck with her for another 2 years. It is what it is.
It might be another 6 years, bro.
It could be, but not if she won't get my vote if she keep this stop and frisk thing. I'm not voting for that. Sorry. No way. No. So, not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's the truth, man. That's the truth.
All right, man, we out.
Yeah, I appreciate. I know. I already knew it. I'll get ready to say what I was gonna say to you. Thanks for it. But man, I'll be waiting for tomorrow about 1:30. I'll be back on here with you, bro.
All right, man. You have a good day.
All right.
Good looking.
You too, man.
All right, man. Peace. My man Troy Diesel in the house. Good looking. All right, y'all. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious. March 15th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Comedian Nate the Landlord, happy birthday to you. And also Lisa Tracy, and also Linda Robinson, Sharice Moses. You know what? Hold on. I want to take away my shout out to Lisa Tracy because she's a staunch MAGA supporter. Fuck her. All right. It's matter of fact, it's not even your birthday. I think you changed your birthday. All right, Linda Robinson, Sharice Moses, Tiffany Dean, Felice Simmons, Kim Lewis, Awika Ufresia Duran Victoriano. And last but not least, my girl Goddess Nikki. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious March 15th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Speaking of kings and queens. We have children. We gotta raise them with our own means until they teens and far beyond. But what happens when you mess up the beginning and don't respond in kind? Will you ever make it? Yeah, there are a lot of chances. Will you take it? Opportunities are out there, they abound. What are they, the opportunities you have found? I'm asking you now, are you doing best? Are you making sure that you protect your kids doing the rest? Are you doing the most? Are you the best host? Are you the best parents, east to the west coast and north to south? Yo, are you really doing things to work it out? I've seen a lot of horrific stuff. Parents out there calling they bluff. It's not enough that you got the money flowing. Still have to have your responsibilities showing. And if you're not giving your kids something for their future, somebody might roll up and shoot you. And I don't promote no violence, nothing of bad violence. Sometimes you gotta reach out and touch, but not so much. Yo, let me fall back for a second. I ain't trying to be too judgmental, but my mental makes me sometimes think out. Yo, dental, take them teeth out. Take another route. What is this thing really all about? Can you do the things that make the people shout? The good things, naturalist, the rap, I see you now. Thank God you came through. Yo, how did you wait all the way till the end of the show? I hope you was listening in the background. You know how it go. Everything is gonna be all right. Making sure that I got my name and my game tight. Are you ready for the Freddie and Jason? I saw your mom in the hallway, alleyway, and she was facing little time, doing a little crime. Open up the legs. Yo, the price of eggs is going up. And then the eggs is this little seed that's growing inside a belly. And that ain't what we need, not right now. That's another DHS, baby. CPS, baby. Yo, say less, maybe. If we get our shit together, start reading some books, maybe we can get together and some more decent looks. But right now, we looking kind of bad, kind of shifty, kind of like tacky. And it makes me mad that we can't come up and get it together. We can't agree on one thing. I don't care whatever it is. As black people, black men, women, and kids, we out here getting locked up doing bids. Yo, I ain't with none of that. I've been locked up before. Ain't no fun in that. Yo, you're losing your freedom. You're losing your dough. You got to collect phone calls, and you don't know if they're going to accept them shits. Yeah, she snuck a cell phone so I can make sure that I checked on my shit. But it shouldn't have to be that way. My brother just came home from jail just the other day. I'm glad you made it home, PJ. I'm going to come down to Florida to see you the right way. Love you to death. Breathe, love you right back to life. Yo, shout out to my nephew, your kids, your wife. And that's my sister-in-law. That's one and an all. Yo, this shit is crazy. And I ain't going to let him take the fall. Got another brother locked up right now. Gotta say, yo, God, please look him down and keep him safe. Because on the streets, he ain't. He into too much shit. Yo, he's in the paint. And he ain't scoring. Yo, the business is low. Shout out to my big little brother, Terrence, yo. Yo, man, get your life together. Dad wouldn't have wanted to be like that. Shit is crazy. What we doing? All right. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night with... We will be back tomorrow afternoon, 1:30 p.m. for another Urban Therapy with Sun show. I appreciate y'all coming through on this afternoon. Please hit the like button, share the show. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I want y'all to have a great day for the rest of the day, and don't let nothing get in your way. Hey, 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 hey. All right. Peace.